Mass panic in Russia after HIMARS strike.
Why is everyone staying silent? Belgorod was hit by a HIMARS strike, and power was out for hours.
Free bars in Dagistan sparked biting incidents. And Soviet-style devotion to Lenin.
Thank God they got it done.
This is Russia in all its reality. Brace yourselves and welcome to the Rogue Nation. While Peskov comments on the state of the economy, people are being killed every single day, said a Russian propagandist.
Why is everyone staying silent? Belgorod was hit by a HIMARS strike, and power was out for hours. Both Stary Oskol and Novy Oskol were left without electricity. Drones are attacking relentlessly. The entire Belgorod region, along with Bryansk and Kursk, is under fire. And meanwhile, people here are just laughing it off.
Ukraine strikes only military targets. Civilians are never the objective. So what are you really surprised about that the war has come knocking at your door? You were the ones who dragged it into Ukraine like it was some kind of celebration, with flowers, fanfare, and the huge eagerness to put things in order over there. Well, congratulations, now you're getting everything on schedule. Blackouts, shelling, drones buzzing right over your heads, and those fun siren-lit evening parties. This isn't some theater or propaganda show on TV. It's real life, and you made this mess yourselves. You can sit quietly, be shocked, or complain all you want, but the facts remain. Every action has consequences. So save your laughter for those who don't understand what war really means. As for you, while the power's still out, maybe consider this. Maybe it wasn't such a great idea to stick your nose where it didn't belong. But no, we are great, we're invincible, and now you quietly wait for the payback to reach every doorstep. Here's your shadow. Enjoy the show.
He authorized strikes with long-range missiles, now even tomahawks. So what? Are we just going to sit back and accept this? Are we going to continue putting up with this intolerable situation? Why are we behaving so submissively?
When there are already so many threats, sanctions, failures, and defeats surrounding them, it seems that scary things like tomahawks are just another chapter in their long book of problems. As for the claim that the consequences will be immediate, sure, of course, it's interesting to wonder how they will try to wiggle out of this. Cry, sob, look for enemies within their own country, or pretend everything is under control while quietly seeking shelter. In any case, if tomahawks are indeed delivered, it won't be just panic. It will be a full-blown spectacle filled with dramatic outbursts and confused expressions. All that's left for us is to sit back and watch.
What war? For them, it's more like a ritualized massacre. They treat it as a sacred harvest. When 1,500 people die each day, they appear completely indifferent.
Putin doesn't care about his own people. To him, people are merely expendable resources, numbers in reports and statistics for propaganda. While there is talk of a special operation, liberation, and restoration of greatness, the real lives and fates of soldiers and civilians are completely secondary. Losses? Who is counting? The main thing is that the regime's goals are achieved, and if someone dies, well, that's just how it has to be. Families mourn while the authorities pretend everything is under control. Silence in the media, bans on certain words, distortion of facts, all designed so that no one asks the question, what is all this really for? What matters to Putin is not the people, but power. His own people are just pawns on a chessboard who can be sacrificed to maintain his position. In Dagestan, free bars have led to biting incidents. In Ezberbash, the distribution of free food turned into a chaotic rush. The crowd pushed forward without queuing. People argued and snatched peas from each other. Some arrived with bags and began stuffing them with food items. When people are forced to fight for a piece of bread, it not only indicates a deep social crisis, but also reflects the absolute inability of the state to ensure a decent standard of living and fair distribution of resources. Such irresponsibility and indifference are a direct reflection of the Kremlin's policies, which only exacerbate the problems of the regions living their inhabitants in conditions of poverty and powerlessness. The climax of absurdity in Izberbash has reached unprecedented heights. A woman beats a schoolboy's hand during a fight over pilaf. What can one say? Apparently, free pilaf has become such a delicacy that some people are willing to cross all boundaries of decency for it. Instead of lining up patiently to receive food, people choose to display feats of aggression and rudeness, as if this were not a charitable event but a gladiator battle. We used to hear about struggles for resources in distant countries and times, but now it's happening right before our eyes in the 21st century in the heart of Russia. This is not just a social crisis, it's a farce in which the state makes its citizens participants in a savage brawl over the most basic necessities. And yet this could have been a simple food distribution if not for the government's indifference and complete lack of control. So what do we have? Instead of order, fights and bites, instead of solidarity, cruelty and selfishness. Instead of hope, shame and helplessness. Congratulations. This is the very wonderful social experiment the Kremlin is conducting in the regions where people are literally forced to bite each other just to survive. This is what the country has come to, biting over pilaf. Bravo. In the Sverdlovsk region, Lenin's monument has been restored, and now locals are making the sign of the cross before it.
Thank God they got it done. We thought we'd be waiting until the end of winter.
The restoration of Lenin's monument in the Sverdlovsk region and the locals' act of venerating it is absurd and a sign of collective amnesia. Lenin was not a saint, but a tyrant who brought millions suffering, repression and death. His cult of personality is no different from what we see today with Putin. The same authoritarianism, the same cruelty, only in different times and under different slogans. If Russians today pray to the tyrant Putin, why not continue this tradition with another tyrant from the past? This only demonstrates how deep-rooted and persistent the cult of dictators and how little the Russians learn from history. Glorifying such figures means betraying the memory of their victims and perpetuating the vicious cycle of repression and oppression.
Why praise him? He practically wiped out the church.
That may be, but it doesn't matter much. Deep down, he still believed.
Believed?
Yes, of course. Every human being believes, even if only deep inside.
Why glorify Lenin? He practically destroyed the entire church. But it doesn't matter. What's important is that he believed in his heart. Believed? Of course, everyone believes deep down, even if they trample millions of lives and dismantle entire institutions. Faith is what counts. Everything else is trivial. So here we have a tyrant who demolished the spiritual foundations of the country, suddenly becoming an object of veneration. Well, if he believed in his heart, then I guess it's okay to make the sign of the cross before his monument. And Putin also attends church and makes the sign of the cross, yet at the same time he kills and destroys Ukraine. Faith and cruelty go hand in hand, with no internal conflicts preventing them from coexisting. Paradox? No, this is the Russian reality where religiosity is merely a facade for inhuman actions and political violence.
Do you think it's necessary to include Lenin's signature?
Yes, definitely. It's important for people to be aware of it, especially the youth. Many of them simply don't know.
Lenin was a tyrant who brought suffering and destruction to millions, and nothing justifies the cult built around him. No matter how much efforts are made to truthfully label monuments and tell the real story, the youth will still be told otherwise through the lens of official propaganda, which will distort any reality and turn even the cruelest dictators into heroes. As a result, truth will once again be replaced by myth, and the endless cycle of glorifying tyrants will continue. As you have seen today, this is who they are: silly Russians playing serious games that they barely understand. This was Inside the Outcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.